I'm going to show you how to do a whip stitch. This is a whip stitch right here. It is a stitch that can be used for a couple of different things. It can be used to make a very quick repair. It also, in this case, I've used it to fasten up a hem of fabric that I've pressed up previously. It's very similar to a hemming stitch. You can see that it looks different on both sides. So this is the right side of the fabric, and because I used contrast thread, you can see the little pinpricks of thread that come up through the right side of the fabric. And on the wrong side of the fabric, where the hem has been pressed up, you can see where the actual stitches are. I'm going to be sewing from the, because I am right-handed, I will be sewing from the right side of my fabric to the left side of my fabric. If you are left-handed, do anchor your thread for the stitch on the left side of your fabric and work toward the right side of your fabric. To start my stitch, I'm going to be working completely from the wrong side of the fabric, so that's the side with the fabric that you folded up. I'm going to take my needle, and you'll notice that I'm holding my fabric. I'm actually almost holding my fabric so that the fold is perpendicular to my body. I do like to hold it like that, especially when I'm working on a smaller piece of fabric like I've got in my hand right now. The first stitch will go above the fold of the fabric, and then it will go into the fold of the fabric. You'll notice that my needle stays on the wrong side of my fabric the entire time, and I'm going to pull my thread through completely for my first stitch. The second stitch is the same exact thing. I'm going to be making my stitches about 1/2 inch. The range should probably be no smaller than 3/8 of an inch and no larger than 5/8 of an inch. And take my needle. My needle goes above the fold of the fabric, and then it goes into the fold of the fabric again. And I will pull my thread all the way through again. And I will proceed until I need to refresh my thread or until I'm done sewing my seam. Above the fold and then into the fold. Above the fold and then into the fold. Okay. You'll notice that I have my stitches right here, and that if I flip over, there are my little pinpricks of color over here that you can see. You want to make sure that you have little dots over here. That's going to be something that you want to practice toward achieving rather than a dash, and I'll show you what a dash is. So when I say dash, when I put my needle above the fold and then into the fold, you'll see I'm taking a much bigger bite of fabric than I normally would. And pull that through, and you can see the difference where these are tinier little dots, and then I have a larger dash right there. So these are preferable to that. But again, if you're using thread that's comparable to the fabric that you're working on, then you actually have a little bit more leeway in that. The more consistent your stitches are, the stronger your seam will actually be. And that's something that will take practice as you're learning how to do this. So just go slowly, and when you feel comfortable, go ahead and pick up speed. Okay. As usual, you want to make sure that you're not pulling your thread. If you pull your thread too tight, again, your fabric will crunch up like that, and we don't want that. And if that does happen, it's not a big deal. Just gently work your fabric toward where you were sewing, and you can flatten it out again and get started on your whip stitch.